welcome back to NFL Playoff Pick'em. I'm your host, Jake Biggie Mills, and today it's me and EJ again. Just me and EJ again. It's fine. It's all you need, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all you need. So, we're back for the divisional round games, and we had some pretty good games over the weekend.
Yes, we did. You know who had a good bracket over the weekend?
Yeah. We're going to get to that in a second. We're going to look at everybody's record and look at the leaderboard of our rankings, the rankings of our picks and everything, who's on top and everything. So, we're going to start with our top dog, EJ, the Cobra Samuel, is 6-0 in picks so far.
Yes, sir.
He is perfect.
Yes, I am.
And right below him is Jake Jones with a 5-1 record. His only wrong pick was the Chargers over the Jaguars.
I'm glad I stayed up to watch that game.
Yeah,
that was
really
to go to bed.
Game. Yeah. And then me, Zach, and Brandon are all tied for last place. We're all 4-2. And the only two I got wrong was Minnesota over New York Giants, and then the Bucks meeting the Cowboys. And then Zach picked the same as I did. We all three of us got the same games wrong, the same two games wrong. The Cowboys beating the So
it's big yikes.
Yeah. So now we're in to our divisional round games. So how are we feeling, EJ, about the divisional rounds?
I think there's some good matchups, quite frankly. But for me personally, in my picks, confident.
Okay.
Very confident in my picks.
All right. So let's get underway then. All right. So we're going to start in the AFC divisional round, the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Kansas City Chiefs. EJ, go first. What do you think?
Well, I mean, what else can I say from Jacksonville's point of view? I mean, let's just be honest here. Who saw them making the playoffs this year? Then they make the playoffs. They're down, 27 points. They come all the way back.
27-0.
Yeah.
0. They had a goose egg.
Yeah. And let me tell you something. I can tell you the momentum they went into halftime with the momentum because they scored that touchdown with 3 minutes left. But anyway, momentum really carried them. And Trevor Lawrence may have had the worst first quarter I have ever seen in a playoff game. Absolutely. And that's worse than the Steelers playoff game against the Browns 3 years ago. It was bad. And he came back from it. And I think that's a very key component when it comes to being an elite NFL quarterback. And he's not an elite NFL quarterback quite yet, but he is getting there, and that's one of the big stepping stones. So let's talk about it. 14th in rushing offense, but it seemed like they don't really need their rushing offense because Lawrence was throwing dimes. I mean, this brother was absolutely slinging them in the second half. Guy was just insane. And because of that, they're in the top 10 of the offenses in this entire league. And I think that's very, very important. Now, Kansas City, obviously number 1 seed in the AFC. And I want to also say number 1 offense in the entire league. Top 3 is Dallas, Philly, and Kansas City. And I must say, they got a lot of guys. Mahomes has a lot of options, from Jerick McKinnon to this Pacheco guy who's now come onto the scene, to his good old trusty Travis Kelce, Juju Smith-Schuster. Got guys to throw to, and it's weird to the point they're so good that they can do Ring Around the Rosie and still score. And I think Jacksonville is going to have a sense of this game means a little bit more because it's the Chiefs. And I can tell you right now, folks, it may be a 1:30 game and it's whatever, but the Chiefs are still favored by 8.5. And I don't think that's the case. I think Jacksonville is going to make it a little bit closer of a game. Mm-hmm. My dog has Jacksonville winning the Super Bowl. I don't know if I said that last time.
You did say that last time.
I will laugh if she gets this correct. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to take Kansas City on this one.
Okay.
I'm going to take Kansas City. Folks, I'm going to take Kansas City by a field goal, and I think Jacksonville is going to be a force to be reckoned with in that South for years to come. That's what you're going to hear from me. But really, Kansas City, what else can I say? Number 1 seed for a reason. Now, we're not going to talk about what happens with Cincinnati and Buffalo didn't play their game and all this other stuff. And, that really shook up the first 3 seeds. But Kansas City first for a reason. I mean, quite frankly, they have 408 first downs. They take advantage of their opportunities, to say the least. 41 touchdowns this season for the Chiefs offense. And come on, you kidding me? How 5,000 passing yards. Their rushing yards even better. It's a lower number, but even better statistically. 1,900 rushing yards in a pass heavy, like an 80-20 offense when it comes to passing. They are just so good.
Right.
First for a reason. Jacksonville going to give them a real struggle, but unfortunately not this year, but they're darn close.
Yes. Yeah, I agree with you. I'm picking the Chiefs as well. Now the Jaguars, like you said, they're 8-point underdogs. They are.
They're 8.5.
8.5. I don't think so. I think it's gonna be a close game, and Kansas City will win, but I think the Jaguars play it close. The Jacksonville has the components to be a Super Bowl contender soon, just not yet. Doug Peterson will get them to that point.
Yeah,
I think personally.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm gonna take Kansas City for sure. And this is what we're gonna do now. Instead of showing it all at the end, we're gonna go through the other 3 guys' picks now while we're talking about the game. So Jake Jones is Kansas City over Jacksonville. Now Zach and Brandon have Jacksonville beating Kansas City.
I could see it. I got to go with the safe pick, but I could totally see it. So got to give it to them. Way to take the fall, boys. That's nice.
Yeah. It could definitely happen, but I don't think
it 100% can happen. Who said? Think about it. They were down 27 points. That's almost impossible odds.
Yeah.
We've seen 2 great comebacks this season. That's one of them.
Yeah. That was crazy. I couldn't believe that.
I'm glad I stayed up to watch that game.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
Yeah. All right, so now let's get into the most important game of the week. I'm sorry, I'm being biased. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, this is going to be a very good one though. The New York Giants and the Philadelphia Eagles. Oh boy, this is going to be pretty darn good game, my opinion. What do you think, EJ?
Well, you see, I did a lot of looking into this game. This is your stereotypical NFC East beat the tar out of each other playoff game. Realistically, let's look at it how it is, folks. That's what you're looking at. You're looking at a Giants at Eagles, right? At nighttime in Philly, a playoff game in Philly playing a division rival. Folks, you can't get really much scarier than that when it comes to the Giants.
Definitely not.
So they took a survey. I read an article the other day. They took a survey. Philadelphia ranks in the top 5 scariest places to play. Both Pennsylvania teams are on that list.
Steelers.
I think Philadelphia landed at 3. Pittsburgh was 2, and I think Baltimore or something was 1. But Philly, they get loud, they get rowdy. I want y'all to know I think the fans are going to play a part in this game. Now, I want you all to also understand, I have a feeling the Eagles are taking the Giants very lightly. I'm just telling you right now, I feel like they are. Now, number 2 offense in the league, Jalen Hurts, MVP, gonna be an MVP. I'm sorry.
Yeah, absolutely.
If he does not win MVP, NFL, you need to go back.
You messed up, NFL. If you do not pick Jalen Hurts as your MVP.
If Kenny Pickett's not Rookie of the Year and Jalen Hurts doesn't win MVP,
and Brian Daboll doesn't win Coach of the Year,
Brian Daboll needs to win Coach of the Year. Exactly.
Absolutely.
But think about it. Jalen Hurts. Let's just talk about Jalen Hurts for himself. The Eagles showed their one flaw. And you know what I'm going to say, Jake? When Jalen Hurts got hurt, they struggled.
They did.
They really did. Their offense is very much so centered around Jalen Hurts, so they better block their
tails
off. Know what's off. I will save you the censoring. That's y'all don't know about editing. That's a pain. Anyway,
yes, thank
you. So
listen,
if Jalen Hurts gets hurt or Jalen Hurts goes down, your season is over.
Yeah.
I
I'm
think
gonna
this
be
is going to
honest
be
with
a
you. I
close
agree.
game. Eagles are favored by 7.5 points. It's going to be a close one, folks. The Giants are darn good. And I've talked to a couple Eagles fans that say, I don't like this game.
I don't. I'm one of them.
I
I'm
don't.
personally kind of scared for this game. I'm not gonna lie to you guys.
And I mean,
Truly.
let's think about it. Giants are number 16 in the entire league for their offense.
Right.
Who has it been? You've got to think about it now. You've got two polar opposites. You've got Jalen Hurts, who's able to do everything. He's able to pass primarily. He's got so many targets to throw
Right.
to,
Yeah.
including AJ Brown, who is now
Also
just
a
in the
team.
late part of
Literally.
the season.
Receiving core, absolutely insane for the Eagles.
And I
It's
like it.
team, truly. I love
But
it.
and they also have Devonta Smith,
Yeah.
who's also becoming more relevant, I guess to say. Philadelphia did a very good job with the AJ Brown, and was I on with you during the draft when they got AJ Brown in
I
that
think
trade?
you were on my draft stream. Yeah, I think you
I
were.
think we were on at the same time, and you will recall I said it, whether to you during that or afterwards. I said AJ Brown is going to be a great draft. It's going to be a great draft trade. The pick ended up being who? Nobody.
Jordan, no, it was a good pick. It was Jordan Davis.
Jordan Davis, but compared to AJ Brown,
Yeah,
who's
getting him in the trade.
producing
I know
more.
what you're saying. Yeah.
And you're gonna see Jordan Davis not gonna do much. Here's the thing. The Giants, it's pretty cut and dry on their side. They run the ball.
Yeah.
And I will say Saquon Barkley is fantastic, and he showed it.
Yeah.
But you know who showed it a little bit more? A guy I've been picking on for quite a long time because I'm biased and I'm a Pitt fan and I'm an ACC. My team's also in the ACC. I picked on Danny Jones a lot, and I need to fill out one of those meme apology forms. He scrambled for a ton of yards, and he's almost reminded me of and pardon me if this is insensitive, but he reminded me of a white Lamar Jackson. I'm serious. Yeah. He did. He was finding the holes. If Saquon, if they didn't call a run play and nobody was open, like Kenny Golladay has some bonuses to be playing for, but even if he didn't find himself open, Danny Jones was there. He was averaging like 6 yards a carry. This is going to be a tough matchup. Unfortunately, I'm going to take the Eagles for the Giants' sake. I took the Giants in mind, but now that I've seen the Giants play and I'm getting closer to the Eagles, I'm going to take the Eagles by 1 point.
Oh, I like that. I like that. I like that a lot.
And you can even write that down if you'd like.
I'd love to write that down.
Eagles by 1. This is going to come down to it, folks.
Yeah.
Eagles fans, I'm telling you, it's great to get mouthy and stuff, but watch. Don't say anything till you win. Please. You'll make yourself look silly.
Yeah. I'm trying to keep my
Jake,
mouth
I'm serious, but I'm serious, pal. Just don't do that. Just mouth closed till you win.
Mouth shut a little bit.
Mouth closed till you win. Okay.
Yep. All right. So yeah, I'm taking my birds. I have to. It's just, I do think this is going to be a very good game. I don't think the Eagles are going to go in there and absolutely dominate them. Truly, I don't. Because the Giants, I was surprised they won last week, but wow, they looked really good. Truly, they looked very good. And the Eagles are getting Lane Johnson back. That he's back for this week. Yes. So they got Jalen Hurts back and Lane Johnson, probably their 2 biggest injuries, if I'm being honest. Now, Josh Sweat and Avonte Maddox aren't playing. I believe that's what I saw. They're still out, but getting Lane Johnson back is huge. Now, Jalen Hurts being gone was a factor, but even when he came back without Lane Johnson, it still wasn't. They beat the Giants, yes, the Giants without their starters, but you could tell they just weren't clicking. You can just tell. And I noticed like the 2 games that they lost without Jalen Hurts to the Saints and to the Cowboys, Lane Johnson's presence was very much missed, especially against the Saints. You can just tell. Gardner Minshew had no time to throw. He was getting pressured like crazy. They had Cam Jordan on the right side, on Jack Driscoll's side, and that's what they did. That was their game plan. Pressure the hell out of Jack Driscoll, and it worked. So yeah, I'm taking the Eagles. I think they win this game, but it's going to be a battle. Truly going to be a battle. It's going to be a gritty game. I'm excited for it. Yeah, I'm very excited.
Real quick before we go on to the next game. I didn't mention this. I said I made this point last week against the Vikings, that the Giants were playing to get back to Philly. They're playing
Yeah,
for the Super Bowl, but
you
they're
did say
playing
that.
to get
Yes.
back to Philly. And I never talked about how the Giants could possibly win this game. And I think the key part to the Giants possibly winning this game is they got to get their young guns out. They got a good edge rushing core. And if they can stop Devonta Smith and Jalen Hurts from moving the ball with their feet, they might have a better shot. So I think you might want to look at that, watch a lot of blitzes from the Giants, especially early, trying to feel what these Eagles are going to do. Because you don't think the Eagles are going to do the same thing. No, they're playing an NFC East opponent. They're not going to go out and do the same thing that they did. Hey, you played us last time, and we're just going to broadcast everything. And they're going to change their scheme up a little bit. So the Giants got to feel their way through this. It's going to become a blitzing type of matchup. So look forward to that as well.
Yeah. All right. So Jake Jones picked the Giants actually over the Eagles. We're going to everybody else's pick. He said in his text that he sent to me, Giants upset Eagles. So that's it. And then Zach and Brandon picked the Eagles. Zach and Brandon both picked the Eagles. So Jake Jones is the lone against the Eagles here. All right. So now let's get into our other AFC divisional round game, the Cincinnati Bengals and the Buffalo Bills. EJ, what do you think?
Well, gee, I mean, what's not to think? There's a lot of thoughts going through everybody's mind because realistically, this is a matchup that should have happened, and it didn't happen.
Right.
And God bless Damar Hamlin, and thank God he's okay. But it has changed a lot.
Yeah.
Is this going to be at a neutral site? That's what I want to know.
I think so. Yes.
I believe this is going to be the game that's at Atlanta.
Yeah.
However, regardless, whatever. Here's what I do want to say. Both teams are in the top 10 when it comes to overall offense. Cincinnati and Buffalo have also played a game less than everybody else in the league. Worth noting, not that that makes too much of a difference, but it does in fact make a difference. And I must say the Bills have taken advantage of their, opportunities with the ball. Now, I will say that they also looked a little shaky against the Dolphins.
Yeah,
Dolphins almost upset them. And folks, that's not good. Could you imagine, and I'm gonna be a Yinzer here, keep the merch and everything. Let me be a Yinzer here. Could you imagine what would have happened if the red hot Steelers could have played the Bills? If the Dolphins did that much damage and they didn't look that great, Steelers were on a run. Could you imagine if the Steelers could have beat the Bills? I know, I'm sorry. I had to do it. Jake, you got to throw your Eagle stuff in there, so let me throw my Steelers stuff in there, okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Ready? So I'm in Scranton now. I'm not in Pennsylvania. I'm not in Pittsburgh. Here we go. All right. Buffalo is number 4 in the entire league, and for good reason. They have 6,300 total yards of offense, and I'm talking with tons of guys. You've got Josh Allen, who's trying to push and be that other dark horse for the MVP. I think Jalen Hurts is going to win it, but Allen's going to be a dark horse for the MVP. 6,300 yards. Stephon Diggs, Dawson Knox, guys like that. Gabe Davis now out of nowhere. Who the heck is Gabe Davis?
Yeah,
out of nowhere.
Good.
Surprise. He's just like Pacheco from the Chiefs. He's just like, surprise, here I am on the scene, and now I'm really good. Same thing with Jerick McKinnon a couple years ago with the Chiefs. Anyway, but on Cincinnati's side of things, they know Buffalo has something to play for because with Damar Hamlin, and they know that it's going to be a tough matchup, and they know that the Bills have always given them a hard time. Those 3 teams, I mentioned it last time, Chiefs, Bengals, and Bills beat the tar out of each other, and whoever wins that's pretty much going to go to the Super Bowl. And I think, quite frankly, I think this is the Bills' time, but we can't just shoo away the number 8 offense in the entire league being the Cincinnati Bengals. 5,700 yards, Jamar Chase, Tyler Boyd, Joe Burrow slinging the ball to these guys, T. Higgins, Now I'm sure they've
offense, truly.
It's just a very good offense. Joe Mixon, and even if Joe Mixon gets hurt, that Pirine, whatever his last name is, oh my gosh, that guy is he is an angry runner. He runs angry. Kind of reminds me, and shout out to you, my boy Harry. Harry Pugliese ran the
My running
literal
back.
same way that Pirine did.
My
It was
running back.
fantastic. And I literally saw so much of Harry when he was torching the Steelers in Pittsburgh. It was so they have answers, and their defense besides Eli Apple is fine.
Yeah.
Eli Apple's a liability. And I think the Bills are going to have a heyday, a little bit of a field day, if you will,
With Eli
with
Apple.
Eli Apple. And I think the Bengals know that. So they're going to have to come up with some sort of something. The Bengals can win it. And looking here at their stats, I mean, I've got my stats. I made a spreadsheet, Jake. I actually do my research here.
Really?
I made a spreadsheet here. But Cincinnati, the only way that they win, I'm thinking that they're going to need to run it. And they cannot rely on Joe Burrow getting in the pocket because of that. That Bills defense is a little bit too much, I think. And I don't think they want to risk getting Joe Burrow injured. So I think they're going to need to run it. I think they need to also stop the run, maybe blitz a little bit more, whether they're stop blitzing to stop the run or trying to put Josh Allen under pressure. That's how Bengals can win. I don't think they're going to be able to do that. They're only going to be able to do it for a little bit. And the Bills adapt. That's the problem with the Bills. They're good because they can come out flat, but they can adapt. Referee help or not, they can adapt. And they know how to play the clock. They're one of the best clock teams I think I've seen in a while.
Mm-hmm.
So they're just quite good. I'm gonna go with the Bills. I'm gonna take Bills by a. Bills are favored by 4.5 on this game. I'll take them by a field goal.
Okay.
I think that's accurate.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll take them by field goal.
I'm gonna take Buffalo as well. Now Buffalo is my AFC Super Bowl pick. Actually,
Wow.
Yeah.
We're just jumping ahead now. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I bet.
That's how I see it. I really like the Bills offense. Josh Allen, amazing. And like I think they're playing for something. They're playing for DeMar Hamlin. They're gonna have that emotional feel throughout the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's gonna carry out through the entire playoff, and I think they go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Get a little ahead, but they think they beat the Bengals and then they beat.
No, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
Good.
So yeah, there's that, and then Jake Jones and Zach have Cincinnati winning. They have Joe
I
Burrow
can see it
winning. Yes.
Since he wakes up in the playoffs.
Yeah.
As long as they don't see the Steelers, they wake up in the playoffs. Yeah. There you go.
They make them too, actually.
Brandon, you know what, Jake? You know what? Fine. Be that way. Have it your way. I can't wait for those Burger King commercials to haunt you in your dreams.
Oh God.
Get ready. Get ready, pal.
And then Brandon picked the Bills over the Bengals. So a little difference in opinion there with those two guys, but the three, me, you, and Brandon all agree that the Bills are going to win. All right. So now let's get into our last game of the divisional round, the NFC, the Cowboys and the 49ers. You know, I mean, I was kind of impressed with the Cowboys last week. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
A little impressed with them, but like it was the team they played.
You impressed or depressed?
A little bit of both.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's got to be some sort of line there.
Yeah, they looked good. Truly, they did. Now, granted, they were playing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 45-year-old Tom Brady. They were 8-9. Granted, not the best team this season, but they didn't look that bad. Truly, I don't think they're a Super Bowl contender, or
no, they're not.
They're going to beat the 49ers, but they didn't look that bad. I think they play the 49ers, who are very good, in my opinion. I think they play them tough. What do you think, EJ?
I agree. Cowboys have a number 3 offense in the league, but I think that running into the 49ers is going to be a little bit different, folks. So let's take a look at the note. Wait, hold on. Let me change the slide. I have a slide for everything for notes and stuff. All right. Be organized. College tip from college kid. Be organized. Anyway, number 3, Dallas Cowboys offense. They're number 3 in the league. I mentioned that a couple times. 6,034 total offensive yards, and a total of 3,700 of those yards came from their passing.
Surprisingly,
CD Lamb. CD Lamb,
is
I
good.
just gotta say, is quite good. And Dak, once again, hot garbage. And he's
I
throwing
agree.
to CD Lamb.
Yeah,
So there you go. I'm sorry. Cowboy fans, you had to be a little bit shaky in your boots with it being a game, like that against the Buccaneers. You should have beat them by so much more, I think.
probably.
Do you know what I mean? And I know it wasn't like this is a tough thing because 31-14 is a score where it's like, it looks like it's a big score, but it's like realistically, who were you playing? The third overall defense versus a team that was what, 25th in the entire league? Down there with the 3-win Los Angeles Rams, worst Super Bowl hangover ever.
Yes.
The Houston
Well, that
Texans,
is
the
the worst
Denver
one.
Broncos, down with those teams, and you're a playoff team. You're 8-9. The Cowboys, you guys should have won by a heck of a lot more. I'm sorry, 31-14. You could say, oh, it was a big score. It was good enough. No, I feel like it should have been a lot
Not
more.
going to be good enough for the 49ers.
I mean, not a good enough for exactly, Jake. You pulled the words out of my mouth. I know I have a hard time getting it out, but thank you for pulling it out of my mouth. Legitimately, pause. You know what? That's what it is, though. It's 6,200 yards in total offense for the 49ers. Brock Purdy is like, he is every NFL media guy, journalist's dream to write
Yes.
about and learn about.
Yeah,
If
I
I
agree.
had a guy like him come in during high school football season, I'd have wonderful time doing research, trying to get interviews with this guy. He's everything. This guy has come out of nowhere
Brock Purdy, yeah.
and done all of this. And I tell you, Seattle gave San Fran a run in that first quarter. They were winning at halftime, but San Fran turned the Jets on, and that was it. Let's talk about this real quick. How can the Cowboys win? How do I word this? I think they need to set up Dak Prescott to succeed by running it early. Because if they run it early, maybe San Fran could commit to run, and then Dak could potentially complete a pass, but that's kind of on him and not on his receivers, because his receivers will actually catch the ball.
Right.
Unlike the Steelers, so I'll dig at the Steelers. Unlike Deontay Johnson.
Yes.
Get rid of him, Steelers. Trade him right now. Anyway, I think defensively, they need to look at trying to get pressure on Brock. Purdy is he's a quick little kid, man. He's quick. He's like trying to catch a toddler. If you guys have ever tried to actually genuinely catch a toddler, it's
like Brock Purdy.
Yeah, it's not fun, and I think that's what the Cowboys are going to run into here. They got a big size upcoming on that line, but the line is going to really need to do their jobs. Their edge rushers are going to need to play outstanding, or it's not going to happen.
Right.
On the 49ers side of the ball, they're sound.
Yeah.
In every aspect of the game, they are sound. And since we're going to do a little peek into the future, I'm just going to tell you now, the 49ers and the Eagles is going to be the NFC Championship game, and I think the NFC champions are going to be the San Francisco 49ers. I could change my mind. Don't write that down yet, Jake.
I know. I'm writing down your pick. You picking the 49ers.
But I am going to take the 49ers for the reason that they are so sound on just everything, but offense primarily. They're just so good.
Yeah.
How could you pick against Brock Purdy until he proves you wrong?
That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm picking.
I mean, I think realistically, McCaffrey, put the ball in McCaffrey's hands.
Oh yeah.
They're gonna run the ball. They're going to run the ever living, whatever word you want to put in there, out of the football. They are going to run it down the Cowboys' throats. Of course, you know why? Because the Cowboys can't stop the run.
I agree.
Good in their secondary, but they are not good at stopping the run, despite their size on the line. They just can't.
Right.
So I'm going to take the 49ers here. I'm going to take Brock Purdy, because how can you pick against the kid? I mean, how?
Yeah,
I just don't get it.
Yeah.
And that's just literally what it falls down to, folks. The stats speak for themselves.
Yep.
I mean, even with this whole thing with Garoppolo changing, and then all of a sudden Purdy's in, and it's Trey Lance, and they were so uncertain at the beginning of the season. Now all of a sudden they've got this kid, and
Mr. Irrelevant.
who's just Mr. Irrelevant, quite literally going to college because he had nothing better to do because the NFL wasn't really going to even give him an opportunity until now.
Yeah,
You know,
I know. But yeah,
averaging 5.9 a play.
that's insane.
Like to put that into perspective, there are teams like for instance, the Arizona Cardinals, right? 4.8 with as good of an offense they are. Think about how crazy that's been. How we expected them to be good and they were terrible. The 49ers have turned it around. They were expected to do nothing this year. You know who was supposed to win that division? The Rams.
Yeah,
What happened?
I know. But guess what? Super Bowl hangover.
Yes, Super Bowl hangout.
Super Bowl hangover.
Three wins. And the 49ers came in there and they took their opportunity. They're just doing like they did the same thing that the Bills did. They went in there, they saw their opportunity, they took it. They had things get in their way, right? DeMar Hamlin got in the Bills' way. That whole thing happened, right?
Yeah.
Guess what? Guess what happened? They beat the Dolphins.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with the 49ers. And you'll see three teams, and we'll talk about it later. And I think I've said it before, these teams that can come back from being down, like way down, but not necessarily be out, those are the teams that are going to win.
Yeah.
I've seen it in every sport, including high school football. Pittston area was down at one point, but not once were they out, and they turned it around the season.
We weren't. We started the season 0-2, and we finished 7-3. So
exactly, and that's the thing. You see it in every sport, and I think the 49ers are the perfect example of that. How could you pick against the 49ers?
Agreed.
Jake, I mean, let's just be real.
I'm not. Nobody did. We're going down the list here. We're running out of time here, but we have Jake, Jones, Zach, and Brandon. Everybody, we're clean sweep for the 49ers.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Sorry. I just want to check after all of this. Don't worry. I just want to see if all y'all are still them boys. Just to make sure before y'all lose and you don't, identify as them boys no more. Just want to make sure and see who all of you viewers are you're them boys. Okay, make sure you're them boys when they lose.
Yep.
Make sure you're them boys when they lose.
Make sure.
That's all I want to say.
All
I'm
right.
gonna be worse than Stephen A. when they lose, just so you know.
Yeah.
Expect the next episode to be kind of crazy if they lose, because
I agree. I want to be
on them.
Way. All right. Well, that's going to wrap up our episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. We will be back next week with our conference championship picks. And then we have the Super Bowl. And then we have, we're probably going to do a Super Bowl recap as well. That will probably, we'll figure that out because there's the Pro Bowl in between there, but we'll figure that out.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for watching. And make sure to tune in tonight, 8:00 p.m. Goliath's Nature Hunt Season 2 premiere. The crew is looking for the Yatesville Ghoul. Will they find them? Find out tonight. Thank you guys for watching.
Yeah.